What's going on, guys? Gas Station here, bringing you the Revelations podcast. Sorry it's been so long. I've been trying to use the most of my July to try to push out as much progress as I can on Bloodlines. And I know I've been kind of lacking and kind of messing up my time, but I'm here. We're here to talk about chapters from chapters 6 to 11, I think. Yeah. I'm currently on the chapter where you're fighting invisible people, and you get Keaton and the other guy. I forget his name. It's been a while since I played. I've been kind of bored of Revelations already, but... So Corrin's like, I won't betray anyone. I won't fight against the people of Nor after you cared for me all these years, which is a totally rational decision, like a rational thing to say. And then Xander's like, yeah, you should. And then Ryoma's like, what are you saying? You would discard your true family and side with those who stand against us? And at this point, I already know that Ryoma's just lying out of his teeth, which kind of grills me a little bit. And then unbeknownst to Corrin, who thinks that he is like that, mom is mom for reals, and they're all family. He's like, no, I refuse to fight against my Hoshiden siblings either, Ryoma. We might not have spent much time together, but you are my family too. So he's pretty much saying, like, I don't want to hurt anyone I love or I should be loving. And then Ryoma's like, yeah, we feel the same. And then he's like, so that means I can't fight any of you because I don't want to betray any of my family. Which, realistically, even balancing both sort of like sides, it's like, yeah, well, I have my adopted family or my adoptive family who took me in and who raised me and stuff, who obviously love me, who I believe they do love me. Then I have, in Corrin's mind, his true family, and he understands that it is true family. And obviously it's a tough decision. It's like, do you want to fight the people who you actually belong to, or do you want to fight the people who you grew up with? So, for him to be like, I don't want to fight nobody, is kind of a rational decision. But Xander and Ryoma it feels to me like Xander and Ryoma have just the most irrational answer to this obviously rational one. Like, I feel like they don't really respect Corrin's decision at all, even though none of them can really think rationally. It feels like Xander and Ryoma start fighting each other because I don't think that I will let you take Avatar without a fight. It seems only right to cross swords with my opposing equal. And I'm like, he doesn't want to come with you, man. Like, just, it feel like I understand maybe that they're emotional, that that the person they love doesn't want to fight for them, but he doesn't want to fight for he doesn't want to fight for either of them. I don't know, maybe, what do you guys think? Like, I just find they're kind of acting a little irrational here. And it kind of gets even worse, like Jacob and the Avatar come or whatever. I don't understand why they're fighting each other if literally right afterwards they have to, run away. Hold on, yeah, the chapter goal is defeat the 2 enemy commanders. I'm sorry, but I've made up my mind, I can't go back. I can't believe you're this cruel. And it's like, I understand that Leo could be disappointed that his brother doesn't want to fight with him, but I feel like no one's really trying to understand Corrin's situation, and it kind of makes me kind of feel sympathetic for the guy. Like, his family's kind of stupid. They still want to fight him, even though he clearly doesn't want to. What does Camilla say? Anyway, so they fight the Hoshiden and Norian guys for some reason. He's like, and Avatar is trying to convince them that you're not understanding what I'm trying to do here. And then Ryoma's like, why would you betray Hoshido? Like, I don't understand the concept of betraying Hoshido when, that has to imply that Corrin has to have had, allegiance to Hoshido in the first place. But he doesn't. It's like, he spent, a week or something, maybe, in, Hoshido, and they all just expect him to be, pledging allegiance to Hoshido? It's like, you have to be I feel maybe I'm understanding the concept of allegiance wrong, but I feel like to betray someone, you have to be aligned to them first. But apparently you don't in this universe. And then Ryoma's like, Avatar, even now, I still remember the agony I felt while you were kidnapped. So, I mean, okay, I guess they fought the generals to try to tell them to slow down for a bit. And then I tell everyone the Avatar is truly lost to us. If she insists on becoming our enemy, then all we can do is fight her. How is he, I don't understand this concept of being an enemy. How is the Avatar, I kind of understand where he's coming from by saying the Avatar is truly lost, in the sense that they don't want to, that whoever the Avatar is doesn't want to fight for Hoshido or Nor. But the fact that they don't want to fight for Hoshido or Nor implies that he's neutral. That doesn't mean becoming an enemy. And that doesn't mean you should fight him. Like, that doesn't mean you should fight Corrin. Like, it's like, I don't understand their logic. What does Xander say? I always thought you as a brother, sister, damn it all. Spread the word among the troops. Avatar has turned traitor. From this moment forth, she is our enemy, and he should be captured on sight. What does that even mean? Like, that seems just super bratty and spoiled. I don't know. That comes off like they're acting so irrational. And like I said, I understand that they feel maybe betrayed, and I feel more sympathy for Xander in this case, because Ryoma is assuming that Corrin is betraying Hoshido, even though there's no allegiance. This is what I don't understand. Like, what allegiance is Corrin swearing to? He has never sworn to Hoshido ever, but they assume that he did because they clubbed him in the head and forced him to be in Hoshido. Like, what? This is what I don't understand. Like, fucking, who was it? The only reason why Corrin is in Hoshido in the first chapters is because he got clonked in the head by Rinka and then brought against his will to Hoshido in the first place. Like, what kind of, like, what? Does anyone find that kind of weird to me? Like, to me, that's just strange. Like, swearing Hoshido, like calling someone a traitor, the same person who you literally kidnapped again back to your place, and assuming that he'd be totally cool with it, and, you know, him not proving any loyalty at all. I guess since they fought together for 2 chapters, it meant they swore allegiance. But I feel like in chapter 5, he didn't have a choice because he was a psycho dragon. And in chapter 4, he just kind of went with it, I guess. I don't really know. It just kind of happened. Like, Ryoma was there and he was like, fight. No, I'm hazy on chapter 4. But it still seems, the whole betrayal thing just seems so like not I don't buy it really that much. They need to try harder to make me buy the whole concept of you're a traitor. And in terms of gameplay for chapter 6, it was actually like kind of confusing on what to do, because I was assuming that they wanted me to go forward and fight them. So I tried that, and then like everyone totally like trashed me. Like Ryoma like fucking one hit killed me and stuff. So I eventually realized that I have to like go left and they'll just chase me anyway. I still kind of think the whole idea of like defeating 2 of their really shitty generals kind of makes no sense in terms of like a goal, but whatever. Like, everything you'll lose everything if you don't choose a side. It's either Hoshido or Nor. No, there's a third option. I can choose to support neither side, but how? I have a family in Hoshido, I have a family in Nor. Even if we lose everything, even if them decides me, I can't choose to side with one or the other. I simply can't do that. I don't care if I lose everything. That's what I've decided. Which, you know, I think if they wrote that a little better, then I guess in terms of like, even if they all of them despise me, I mean, I'm not Corrin, but if I would say like my fucking siblings are idiots and I need to convince them somehow. Like, he accepts the fact that they hate him, but he doesn't really question the kind of ludicrousy of why they hate him. It's still kind of, it irks me. Yes, chapter 7. So this was chapter 6. So all in all, I'm just kind of perturbed by the whole sort of, they hate him for being smart, I guess. Anyway, and chapter 7, Unspeakable World, that writing is like, what? See, this is the kind of shit that makes me like really confused as to why like it just kind of shits all over. I don't really know how to explain it aside from saying that it shits all over Conquest's story in like the first 5 minutes. In literally 5 minutes, Revelations manages to shit all over Conquest's plot, and the infamous chapter 15 of Conquest is what I'm talking about. And I'm just like, it just makes me really confused at Azura's character and what her intentions were in Conquest. But she just says the throne of Vala is occupied by King Anankos. Before his arrival, this land was a peaceful one, as well as all was well until Anankos killed our king and took the throne for himself. Once bountiful farmlands were devastated, replaced by wastelands and graveyards. He destroyed an entire kingdom for no reason at all. Yes, he isn't finished. He wishes to lay waste to the entire world, first Vala, then Nor, then Hoshido. Even now, his hidden influence quietly forces Nor and Hoshido to fight. King Garen's invasion is the result of Anankos' subtle manipulations. So, King Garen's invasion is the result of Anankos, which means that Garen is influenced by Anankos. Okay, and then Corrin's like, but if it's true, then maybe we can stop this war by defeating Anankos. We need to get back up and above and explain this to everyone if we can get Hoshido and Nora together with. And then the plot device happens, or the plot. So she's like, I'm sorry, but you can't. You mustn't talk about Vala to anyone when you're beyond its borders. If you do, you'll trigger a curse that will cause your body to dissolve and disappear. That's what happened to my mother, Arit, the former queen of Vala. She basically explains what she explained in Conquest, except she doesn't explain Vala or Anankos at all in Conquest. And basically, what really kind of throws me off here is that in Conquest, Azura stays in Hoshido while Corrin leaves with the siblings. And I'm like, okay, so in Conquest, Azura chooses not to do what she does in Revelations and instead gets Corrin to do all this bullshit, where instead she could very easily, in my view, do what she did in Revelations, but instead of just Corrin, it's the entire Norian family. They go to the Invisible Kingdom, they do all the shit, they explain about Anankos to the siblings there, and then Conquest becomes like kind of like Revelations, I guess. But for some reason in Conquest, Azura chooses to not fight or to not follow Corrin in this instance, even though she very well knows about all this shit anyway. Like, what? Why would you not do this, Azura? And this is what throws me off about chapter 7, is that immediately it trivializes the entire story of Conquest. The whole decision for Azura not to go do the exact same thing she did in Revelations than to do what she did in Conquest is like, what were you thinking? Like, I don't understand Azura's thought process at all. Like, I don't know what she wants at all. So then anyway, Azura's saying like, I'm sorry, but you can't. You mustn't talk to Val about anyone beyond its borders. If you do, you'll trigger a curse that will cause your body to just blah, 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 and disappear. Your mother was the queen of Vala and not Nord. Then that makes you, yes, I'm a Valite princess. The king in Anankos was murdered. He was my father. Even if I wanted, I couldn't. I was trapped no matter how much I missed my parents. So they try to make this all fucking sobby. Like, oh, I'm so fucking fucked up inside, like, blah, blah. So let me just do the same thing to you, Corrin, instead of telling the entire fucking Norian family that this exists. This entire other world exists. Like, maybe showing Leo the crystal ball in chapter 15 of Conquest wouldn't be enough to convince him. And maybe he would think that, like, Azura's from Hoshido, even though she was originally from Nor, but she's trying to fucking mess with our head to try to get us to get mad at Garen. But it's not like they won't believe an entire other world existing and it being able to explain Garen's recent shittiness to them. Like, this is the same Garen that apparently, like, would kill his own siblings, which is really fucked. And I don't know if he would do that if he wasn't influenced by Anankos, but I'm sure Xander would be like, yeah, well, before Garen wouldn't hurt his kids, but I guess now he's willing to kill them. So, I mean, maybe you're right, Azura. Maybe this kingdom does in fact mean that my dad is fucked in the head and not actually my dad anymore, and we have to do something about it. But no, Azura just doesn't do that shit. Anyway, that just, that really fucking makes me mad. And then Gunter appears, and then Gunter tells him why Hans did the thing that he did, which I kind of appreciate. The paragraph where, or the dialogue when Gunter's explaining to you, after being honored for valor in battle, I was granted an audience with King Garen. He offered me the dragon's blood. Accepting would require absolute loyalty to the king. However, it would also mean giving my homeland, my wife, my child. I turned him down. I wanted to live a normal life, and I begged for his understanding. He'll never forget his manager's rage. So Garen's just like a shitty king. Like, I was, after being honored for valor in battle, and then Garen totally takes everything back. Garen seems like such an idiot, man. And then the Valite woman is like, you should not be here. I'm a mage of Vala. You were warned. Valite warriors, eliminate them. This is bad. I don't think we are strong enough to defeat them. Let's retreat to the other world. So they fucking run off to the other world. And then they talk about some dawn dusk bullshit. I wasn't even paying attention to that. It was like some fucking like mystical dragon mumbo jumbo, and I was just like not down to listen to this. Yes, I'm sure that's the sign of the pass down to open or close. Since we're obviously able to travel there now, it will close next time. Once it closes, it will stay that way for decades. We won't be able to get there. We don't have much time. I see. Then we'll need both kingdoms to stop fighting each other and help us. If we had Xander and Ryoma, there's no way we'd lose. I mean, at least if you had fucking Xander, then maybe you had a choice, because call me crazy, but if Xander was here, they'd see the thing, and then maybe in an instance where they were in the same place in a neutral territory, fucking Izumo maybe, they would talk about this, and then something would happen in Conquest. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know why they decided to go to... I don't know why Azura is like, let's go to Hoshido first. Like, I feel like Nar would make way more sense, because like Corrin is like enemy number one for both, but is probably less so, and they're super willing to listen to Corrin, I feel like, way more than the Hoshidans. But fuck if... I don't know. I don't even know, man. I feel like these characters aren't really even human sometimes, so who knows what they would do if they went to Nor instead. And in terms of the map, it was so stupid, man. Like, it was just an item fest. The gimmick was really dumb. It was like, oh, you went here? Nope. Go back like 4 tiles. Try again for the entire map. But it was, and I was like, this is lunatic. I thought it was going to be like a Thracian Fog of War chapter. But it was just like a shitty Fog of War that wasn't even Fog of War. It was like a knockoff, and it was just a really bad gimmick. It made no sense and was totally stupid and time wasting. So I don't know what they were thinking with that one, but I didn't like it at all. It just didn't add anything. Like, it just never added anything when it was doing that. So then they go to Fort Jinya, which I'm pretty sure was the fort that was guarded by Sakura in Conquest and Yukimura or whatever. So that was that. So then they're like, okay, let's reach out. And then Gunter's like, didn't you say that you'd be branded as a traitor? These soldiers have likely been ordered to attack you on sight. And then Azura's like, you must not forget about the curse. And then Yukimura, who is apparently a strategist, is just like acting super bratty like the rest of them. And then Silence, I won't let you justify your betrayal. I'm still not buying the betrayal thing. And every time they mention it, it makes me like frustrated because I don't see the betrayal happening here. I mean, I kind of do, but it's not enough for them to be like harping on it so bad. Like, no one's acting like down to earth or just fucking normal or something. I do not have time to listen to your poisonous words. You abandoned your friends and your family. I don't have fucking friends here. I was living there for a week. Jesus. I won't be surprised if you'd help the Norians capture Lord Takumi. And on top of that, everything else, Lord Ryoma has gone missing. So I guess Yukimura is like just freaking out. His brothers are missing. I don't know how they went missing in such a short time. It was like a single chapter. Like, were they going back to... How'd they get missing anyway? Like, it was a chapter. It was like literally one chapter of us being in an invisible world, which I don't even know if time even flows that well. So I don't know how long it was. I don't know how Ryoma went missing. And apparently Takumi did too. Captured Lord Takumi. So wherever they went in the span of a single chapter, I mean, I know where they went, but it's still kind of weird. And then Orochi's there, and Saizo's there, and Sakura. Yeah, Sakura just jumps in. Sakura and Kaze jump in after Saizo was gonna like suicide. Rah, God, I'm gonna turn on fire and blow up. And then Kaze justifies Corrin's behavior because he set him free. And then Sakura's like, Avatar's a kind person even during battle. There must be a reason. And then they're like, thank you. And then Avatar's like, our real enemy is not in Nor or hidden in Hoshido. It lies somewhere else. The explosion in Hoshido, the death of my mother. These events were set in motion by King Garen. Somewhere else, a powerful and ambitious force is manipulating us all. And then Saizo, acting fucking normal, is like, so that's it? An enemy we haven't heard of is the reason for this conflict? Sounds like the work of an active imagination. Nothing more educated then. Who is the mystery enemy? He said he can't say much. Do you think of us as fools? And then Corrin is like, he says actually something smart. I'm sorry, I can't say much, only that a day will come when the skies above Nor and Hoshido will switch colors. Actually, I changed my mind. That makes no goddamn sense. If you need proof of what I say is true, meet me at the bottomless canyon. Switch colors. I feel like they don't really care about that detail, but he says it anyway. I feel like just meet me at the bottomless canyon and everything will be okay. And I don't think they even do that. Yeah, he's like, well, then that seems like a waste of time. So Corrin doesn't get listened to. No one trusts Corrin. Sakura trusts Corrin. Anyway. Where are we here? Trader's Brand. So Sakura jumps in, she helps, she decides to join, and that's cool. Then Hana and Tsubaki, they'll join. And in terms of, okay, so that was chapter 8, and I know I'm kind of like rushing through these because honestly, it feels like nothing is really remarkable is the thing. Like, nothing's really that remarkable this early game. It's actually really fucking boring, to be honest. Chapter 6, 7, and 8 are hugely boring. And they're just Corrin shitfests. Like, for the first, 4 chapters, it's just Corrin low-manning everything. Like, no one else is... Like, Felicia's kind of useful, because she can do debuffs for Corrin, but... Like, these chapters are fucking easy as hell. Like, no enemy skills for Lunatic, which really got me annoyed. And... Like, everyone sucks but Corrin. And that kind of bothers me. Because I hate... I don't know, it's just... I feel like the difficulty change from Conquest to Revelations is so absurdly high. And the early game for Revelations is just so boring. It's like... You're not even baiting switching. Like, you're just throwing Corrin at things because no one else can do damage. And Gunter is an awful Jagan. He is so bad as a Jagan. He is so shit. I'm sorry that I'm not like beating around the bush here or whatever. But Gunter's like the worst Jagan in the entire franchise in Revelations. He has base 10 defense. What the fuck? How do you have base 10 defense? You're a great knight, for fuck's sakes. The only thing he's good for is his support bonuses. His para bonuses. But that is it. He's just so bad. Like, I'm so mad that not even the Jagan is useful in this game. I mean, I guess he's useful for LTCing like the first 3 chapters before you get Sabaki, but the entire early game consists of Corrin just shitting all over everything, and it's frustrating just because I'm forced to grind, and I hate being forced to grind. That's why I love Fire Emblem, is that like, I like Fire Emblem for the fact that you don't really need to grind because it's linear. So when they introduce grinding in Fire Emblem games, I automatically dislike them. And I mean, you can grind in any Fire Emblem game, but in different ways. Like, you can grind by arenas. But I mean, like, in Sacred Stones, you can grind, but you don't need to grind. Like, you can still beat the game because the game is balanced, and you can beat the game without grinding, and it makes it a challenge. Like, in Ephraim mode, in Ephraim hard mode, you can decide not to grind, and the game is still sort of challenging. Like, it's still a harder game than fucking Revelations so far. But I feel like it's like they intentionally did this to encourage you to grind, because base Hana and base Sabaki and base Gunter and base Felicia and base Kaze can literally do no damage at all. And don't even get me started with Rinka. She is ass. She is so ass. She is the worst fighter I've ever seen. The worst base axe fighter I've ever seen. Like, just the most useless axe fighter ever. Like, oh my god. I don't know, Marty in FE5 is like, apparently he has awful bases, like, to the zeros and shit, but like, my god, Rinka. You're so bad, Rinka. Your base strength is fucking 8. You have 8 base strength and you start with like the worst axe ever. Your personal skill is decent because you can inflict +4 damage, but you can't even touch anyone in your chapter that you come in. Anyway, so this chapter was just throw Corrin at things and win. The win chapter comes back in chapter 9, and you know how much I hate the win chapter, so I hate this chapter by default, because fuck the win chapter, it sucks. Man, I do not like that chapter at all. And the same things happen, man. Like, the same bullshit, boring mechanic. And this time it's even worse because it's not even as hectic. Because there's no enemy skills. And it's like, just even more boring because I don't even have a lot of units I can use. It's just literally Corrin and like some other units sort of, but not really. It's like the game is forcing me to grind, because if I don't grind, the only person who can deal any damage is Corrin pretty much. So I had to grind like 3 maps because I didn't want to suffer through this map any harder than I had to. So I grinded Tsubaki and Hana and Kaze, and then they actually started being useful. And base Rinka is fucking awful. Like, base Rinka is so bad. And it's just the same bullshit map. At least there's no fucking hexing rod with Ayato, and Ayato can move and be killed really easily. And I got all the chests and stuff, but it took goddamn forever. And I know you can beat that chapter in like 3 turns by using the wind and stuff. But I don't even know if you can do that in Revelations, because I feel like in Revelations it implies, in Conquest you can LTC that in like 3 turns because you have units who can actually be strong, right? But in this game, if you don't grind, it feels like no one's useful except for Corrin, which means good luck trying to LTC this garbage because you'll probably die first. Ugh, I'm just so mad at this chapter. I know I'm acting really pissy right now, but I've been kind of under some stress lately. But even so, this chapter still grinds my gears so bad. I just have nothing positive to say about this stupid win chapter. So Avatar lives, and she knows the truth that she should not, implying that they know about the Invisible Kingdom. So I guess they know that he knows, or he knows that they know. However, there is no need to worry. I've already set a plan in motion. They will easily be crushed. It's impossible for anyone to stop me out of this world's mind. They just don't know yet. So just some exposition. And then Elise is like listening. And so Elise hears the entire thing. So Garen, again, is dumb as fuck because he talks to himself. And Elise is in the other room. And there's no guards. This is in this goddamn empty world, man. And then they're in the Eternal Stairway. However, the Eternal Stairway is the quickest way to our destination. Azura, you said we're heading to Izumo, right? Yes, it's our best chance in avoiding conflict with the Hoshin forces. Izumo has declared neutrality, and we won't allow fighting of any kind in their land. Okay, so they're in the Repu Castle, or they decided to try to go to the Repu Castle, which is where Fuga lives, who's the chief of the Wim tribe. So the second they enter the Wind tribe, there's tribalists who are like, there they are. They're the ones who attacked our friends, as if implying that they're gonna like attack them for it, or they're just talking shit to them. I don't remember the cutscene that well, but I'm just reading the script here. You beat our friends Black and Blue. We won't let you get away with it. I won't deny that we fought your friends. I'm very sorry for that, but it wasn't our intention to fight them. We bear no ill will towards the tribe. Tribalists are like, do you expect us to believe that? You can't just beat people up and think that there'll be no repercussions. And then Sakura's like, I've never seen them so upset. It doesn't seem like they'll be willing to listen to us at all. We should head to Repu Castle. I've heard that the Oni chieftain of the Wind tribe resides there. If we are able to convince him to help us, he may be able to calm the others. So they enter Repu Castle without a hitch, even though it seems like Repu Castle would be like in sort of the density of the tribe, but apparently there isn't anyone there in the tribe. And they just kind of enter there without a hitch, which kind of confuses me. Like, no one gives them a hard time or attacks them for it. They just kind of waltz in the castle. And then Fuga's like, you wish to speak to me? Which makes me also confused. It's like, would these tribalists or guard tribalists just let them walk in like that, even though they like are accused of beating the shit out of they aren't even accused. They actually did it. So it's like, would Fuga really would they really let them so close to Fuga? Or is it just because Fuga needs to fight them for some reason? Have you news of what you intend to do? You side with neither Nor or Hoshido, but instead to destroy both kingdoms, and you decided to begin with the Wind tribe by attacking our brethren. And Nor, of course not. Where are these ideas coming from? We aren't planning to destroy kingdoms. Our real goal we're seeking out allies is to defeat the king of, and then Azura's like, stop, because Corrin's dumb. An unknown enemy has fear of death driven you mad. I don't think you can gain advantage of confusing me with your ramblings. Only a fool would accept your explanation. I am no fool. Eliminate these invaders immediately. And then Rinka appears out of nowhere. I just don't understand the logic of these characters, man. Like, Rinka is trying to avoid a conflict by saying on behalf of the Flame Tribe he's telling the truth. And for some reason, Fuga is like, okay, let's fight then. If winning is what it takes to convince him, then I'm ready to fight. How does that convince him? Like, I'm so... Like, maybe if Fuga knew about the Yato or whatever, I guess he does, because I think he says that in the ending cutscene. I'll check in a second. But, like, I just don't like the logic of, hey, do you trust me? I will if you beat me in a fight. Like, what does that prove? What does beating you in a fight prove? I don't understand the logic of these characters, man. Show me the strength of your character. And then, so they beat the shit out of Fuga, who said he was wrong about them for beating him in a fight. And then, you listen to us now. I am truly sorry that we attacked the people from your tribe. We were deceived, and we came here to offer our apologies and an explanation. I could sense no ill intent in you as we fought. You have a pure heart and a warrior's spirit. I promise to explain the situation of the rest of my tribe. You should not worry. You know, challenging him to a fight to see if Corrin would... If he could sense his intent... I don't know how he can do that, but I guess he's a tribe member, and he could sense the intent of people as they fight. But I mean, like, if you could sense that, does that only come out when you're fighting? Like, does that not come out if you don't want to fight? Like, if you have a pure heart, is that only provable by fighting someone? I don't know. Apparently that's how the Fuga thing makes... I don't know. I can see why you deserve to wield the Yato, and yes, I know of that blade. Subaragi once spoke it to me. Listen carefully. The Yato is the key to the Seal of Flames. The Seal of Flames contains limitless power. It is said that it is a weapon capable of even destroying the gods that made it. As the power to topple a god, then perhaps it can be used to... Yes, we have a glimmer of hope now. And then he's like, Isana from Izumo should be more familiar with the legends. I suggest you seek him out and ask about the Seal of Flames. Our tribe will provide you aid for your trip. I believe the best choice would be Hayato. Maybe I'm just harping on the issue too much. But it just seems like a contrived reason to fight in the Wind Tribe. And to be honest, I feel like... Actually, I don't really know what to think about Fuga in this case. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Fuga was in the right to challenge him to a fight to see if he had a pure heart and a warrior spirit? Or do you think it's kind of just a contrived way to get a Wind Tribe fight going? Because it seems like if Corrin is already wielding the Yato and didn't want to fight and was being honest, I feel like sensing the pure spirit is already sensible. But apparently it's not. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm in the camp that it's a stupid and contrived way to start a fight. So what do you guys... Tell me what you guys think. Anyway, so they head to Izumo. Anyway. Voice of a God. Fucking snowplow the chapter. God, this chapter is so whack, man. Revelations is fucking so dumb with this chapter, man. Fuga, the leader of the Wind Tribe, gives Avatar his approval and offers aid. Avatar continues on to Izumo to learn more of the legendary Seal of Flames. I cannot imagine what sort of drugs they were smoking when they were, like, thinking of this chapter. It is fucking absurd. This chapter is so goddamn stupid. I don't even have words. I can't even describe how angry this chapter makes me. First of all, the opening cutscene is comically stupid. Like, so Isana is just chilling and waiting for them to come. Quote unquote, it's pretend Isana. It's literally Zola again. The Seal of Flames sounds pretty boring to me. I don't remember hearing dull things. I see. Just when I thought I was going to catch a break too. Hey now, don't look so disappointed. I've prepared a feast for you inside. You should eat, drink, and be happy while there's still time to do so. Of course you have an imposter. What? You're calling me an imposter after I prepared a feast for you all? Don't be coy with me. It's a plan you're hiding behind the magic illusion and reveal yourself. It's been a while, hasn't it? Zola, I knew you were behind that magic. Who is this? This Cretan is a Norian mage who specializes in illusion and deception. But how did you know it was the real Archduke? But where's the real Archduke? So Gunter has a brain and could... I just imagine this situation. If Gunter wasn't there, and wait, what do they say in Wanderer? So Fuga is like, Isana should be more familiar with the legends. So they go there. Right, so on the way to go, so they intend to go to Izumo to get to safety, and then Fuga's like, actually, you should go to Izumo because Izana's there. So Fuga, who's obviously like super wise and shit, I guess, says go to Izumo for Isana, and then talk about the Seal of Flames, and then the only one who is like, who's able to parse, I've never heard of it, or be suspicious about this whole thing, like how do you not know about this, is Gunter. I feel like this would make sense for Gunter to do, but I feel like it's not written the best way it could be. I feel like they could pull like a Seth sort of thing where Gunter's like, Isana should know about this, but he doesn't. Because right now it just comes off like Gunter's just calling him an imposter. Like, it's plain to see you're hiding behind a magic illusion, reveal yourself. And then Zola just fucking does it. It's like, I feel like they could have done, like I said, an imposter thing like Orson, where it was like, Orson is clearly lying, and Seth kind of catches on to it, but he also justifies why he's suspicious. In this, it's just like Gunter just says he's an imposter, and he never explains why. So it kind of just comes off that like, it's kind of lazy writing, and also Corrin and no one else was able to question why Fuga would say that Isana does know about the Seal of Flames, but then in reality he doesn't know, and no one's sort of like suspicious about that. And then the most bullshit thing happens. This makes no sense. This is like probably one of the worst writing I've ever read in Fire Emblem. I'm afraid it's off to jail for him regarding the real Isana. The clink, the slammer, the cooler. Oh, cooler. That reminds me. It's time to make use of King Garen's ice bomb. Everyone fire. He. Fire the ice bomb. What the fuck is an ice bomb? What? What? Is this... What? So Garen, I guess, forces the Ice Tribe to make this ice bomb. Wouldn't it make more sense if... First of all, it's a stupid idea. It's a terrible gimmick because all I did for the entire chapter was turtle my way through punching fucking ice and breaking, quote unquote, breaking the snow blocks. And in some sort of sometimes bullshit ways, because if I break one, then an enemy's bullshitly right there, and I've expended all my uses of actual capable fighting units, and then fucking Azura or Sakura gets killed, so I'm forced to like just trudge along like in a literal fucking snowstorm or some shit, breaking through snow like a goddamn snowplow, and fighting stupid enemies who just drop fucking everything. This isn't Fire Emblem. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry for getting pent up about this, but what the fuck is this chapter? Like, I'm so floored by the fucking drugs they must have been smoking when they thought of this chapter. This isn't a Fire Emblem chapter. Like, there's just nothing like this in Fire Emblem ever. And that's not a good thing. This chapter is so goddamn stupid. I can't even quote unquote rush the chapter, because if I go through and I break the wrong piece of ice and there's fucking enemies there who can just kill my soft shit units because they're all soft and shit unless I didn't grind yet, it's like I'm forced to use my shitty units first and then push through with my stronger units and hope that I don't end up in a bullshit situation. So it's just like, it's obviously preventable by taking your time and just like forcing yourself to trudge through this garbage map. There's snow all over the place. You break the snow, you get 1,000 goddamn items, so the game force feeds you items. Like, what's the point of fucking shops and shit? What's the point of money? What's the point of this? Like, Dude, they give you stat boosts in Lunatic. In a Lunatic mode of a Fire Emblem game that's coming off Conquest. They give you stat boosters in Chapter 9? Like, they feed it to you, man. What? Are you kidding me? So they spoil you with items. The enemies are placed in bullshit spots sometimes. If you're not careful, or if you're just like not turtling like you were a turtle in the fucking Ice Age, you're just gonna die for some bullshit reason. And like, it's just so boring. It's so stupid. It's such a stupid fucking chapter. Like, it isn't a challenge. It's more bullshit difficulty than anything, but it's not even difficult. It's just like a mini game. It's a mini game. I have no words, man. I'm just mad. I'm just mad at this chapter, man. This isn't Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem chapters do not consist of being a snowplow, not seeing your, like, in this weird fog of war-ish chapter, and it's a minigame. It's a fucking minigame. You fight enemies, super easy, like, you beat the enemies, you get the item, you do it over and over and over and over for turn on turn on turn. And it's like, it's like if you don't want to grind, then you have to force yourself to trudge through this bullshit. Because if you don't grind in this game, your enemies fall behind so quickly, especially in the early game, because you're just low-manning everything with Corrin, that if you don't want to force yourself to fucking go through the snow, then good luck on the other chapters potentially, because everyone on your team sucks in the early game. Oh my god. Maybe someone else had a different experience than I did. Maybe I just got hilariously RNG screwed. But my god, if I did not grind, Corrin and Felicia to a degree would be the only competent fighters on my team if I didn't grind. Or I could not, I could probably beat the chapters without grinding, but I would take so much time to do, and I would just be low-manning the entire thing with Corrin. Where Isana, oh yeah, Leo comes out of fucking nowhere. I totally forgot about that. Leo just shoots up out of nowhere and just... You disgrace the entire Norian army. I don't even... Like, Leo just fucking comes out of nowhere. I knew it was Leo. Thank you for saving Sakura. Leo, will you join us? I refuse to side with Hoshido or Nor. I learned that King Garen is being manipulated by someone. How do you know this? Listen carefully. He didn't want to start a war with Hoshido. He's being controlled by a real enemy, someone hiding behind the scenes. This invisible foe is who we should be really after. Name the manipulator. Anyway, so Leo is just here to talk. I don't know. He just kind of appears out of nowhere by himself. Let me take as clear as I can. You abandoned our family, and I've extended you the same courtesy. I no longer think of you as a sister or brother. Got it? I only came here to clean up that vile mage. You and I will settle our differences some other time. First of all, I was about to kill him. So you kill stealed me. Secondly, I feel like Leo should be the most rational person to like pull a Sakura in the sense that he understands Corrin's situation. But even the most smart guy in Nor doesn't see how dumb he's acting. Like, you abandoned our family and I have extended you the same courtesy. Yes, he abandoned the family, but it's not because it wasn't out of malice. And this is what I feel like that the writers are trying to portray Corrin as, is that like Corrin out of malice left Nor, but he didn't leave out of malice. He left because he was in a tough bind and he made the rational decision, by not fighting anyone. It's an understandable opinion of his, or a decision of his, and not even Leo understands it. And why is he even here, man? He just shows up out of nowhere, then he fucking bails. Talks about his hair being amazing. Princess Sakura, I believe your brother is around here somewhere. He was left in a situation similar to my own. I can only imagine how hungry he is now. Takumi is really here. Takumi, I'm so glad you're safe. Sakura and Avatar and Azura. What are you all doing here? Well, I decided that I would fight alongside Avatar. You turn against Hoshido as well. Ryomo is going to be devastated. I haven't. Neither has Avatar. No one here has, actually. None of us plan to fight against Hoshido. The Avatar says there is something much worse than Nora's aggression going on. She can't explain, but I trust him. Takumi, please. And then Takumi is like, I don't believe this is real. I don't trust you. I think what you're saying is dumb. And then Isana tells Takumi to join the Avatar. That's what the gods are telling me. I just got some prophetic stuff from them. Some prophetic? I can't believe that important prophecies just happen all of a sudden like that. Hey, who's the keeper of the prophecies here? You or me? They come as they come. Would you really ignore directions sent down from the gods? You know, you say that. How can I choose to side someone who won't choose side with their family? Blah, blah, blah. What does that mean? Is the Avatar the one who shines light in the dark? I think so. Thus, I need to show you a new path. If you'll excuse me, I need to go to hold a little ceremony and ask the ancient god for help. Who is the ancient god? I don't know. Yep, fortune favors the bold. Strike while the iron's hot. Carpe whatever. I want to get this little ceremony over with. In any case, the ancient gods aren't exactly easy on the eyes. I hope he returns. Carpe whatever, boys and girls, ladies and gents. Carpe whatever. Yeah, and then Isana dies. So Isana's like, sorry, I have kept you waiting. What's wrong? You look exhausted. I had a chat with an ancient god, but even I don't understand it. It's short too. Go meet the dragon. A dragon? I'm sure you'll figure it out eventually. I really hope you do too. After all, I think I may. Ow, ow, ow. Yep, definitely gave my life for the message. Isana fades, and I was Avatar. He was holding the floor. Talking to me nearby. What, you're dying? How did this happen? Well, the ceremony I performed always requires something in return. Every message has a price, and the cost of this one was my life. I'd really like it if a bard wrote a song about my noble sacrifice. Oh, Prince Takumi, I know I asked before, but make sure you help out the Avatar, okay? What? You're still not willing? I'm dying here, and you're still unsure. Listen, if you don't, I'll come back as a ghost and haunt you all the time. Boo. Archduke. Well, I said what I needed to say. Bye-bye. And I actually found that they handled this death pretty nice. The one thing, this is one of my favorite scenes so far in the game, is that they handled Izana's death as they should have. An issue that I had with Conquest's Rainbow Sage dying is that the Avatar, followed up by Yago's bullshit, were like pushing this death so far, and they don't even know the Rainbow Sage. And Corrin was like sobbing, and he had like the sound effects of him were crying, and he was so sad that they couldn't save the fucking Rainbow Sage or whatever. And everyone, like, they're trying to portray this, like, build this sad moment in the game, but like for like everyone who's playing the game, they're like, are we supposed to feel sympathy for him? So I appreciate the fact that, you know, in one way, they shouldn't feel sorry for Isana, because, I mean, they do feel sad that he's dead, sure. And, you know, Gunter's like giving up his life for the good of everyone. It's admirable. It's a noble thing to do. And then Takumi sort of like tells him to do the smart, like to man up about it. But the thing is with Corrin in this scene is that he doesn't dwell on Izana's death that much after the fact that he dies. And it's the same. It's like the complete opposite when it comes to the Rainbow Sage, where it feels like Corrin is like fucking traumatized by not being able to save this guy, even though it was his destiny to die, or he foresaw his own death. Even in this one, Isana didn't see his own death coming, but like they respect and they write the death well enough that they just have him die, and that's his role in the story is over. They don't like push his death for minutes on end, and the like fucking, it just loses its value when it's pushed so far in Conquest when the Rainbow Sage died. So this was the best, in my opinion, so far in all the deaths that happened. Even though this death even makes like sense, really. It makes way more sense than Lilith and is less cringe-inducing than the Rainbow Sage one. So this is my favorite death so far. Is that it? Yeah, I mean, I guess in the logic of fates, you have to give something to speak to the gods. And that's what happened to Isana. Like, that's a rule. I can see it being possible. Like, you have to sacrifice yourself to speak to fucking immortal gods. The point is what I'm trying to get at. The point is that this death was well written in Fate standards. I really don't like Izana's character. I think he's like way too flamboyant and stuff for my taste. But even so, he dies with honor. They honor his death and they don't dwell on it for too long, and I appreciate that. Same thing with, like, I'm bringing up Tearing Saga again, but same thing with with Eisenbach in Tearing Saga. He dies, his role is filled, they don't dwell on it. Some characters do dwell on it, but they have the right to dwell on it. Like, it felt like to me that Corrin, when the Rainbow Sage died, he didn't really have the right to, the relationship wasn't there for him to be like justifiably that sad. But in this one, they don't push it. And in the same one with Eisenbach, they don't push it. I respect that. So I respect this death. It was a good ending cutscene. And it's enough to get Takumi convinced because, I mean, why wouldn't it be even as, like, a fucking high-ranking priest dude in a country just sacrificed himself for Takumi to believe Corrin. And that's what happened. So that's that. So yeah, it was good. Finally, a good cutscene, it felt like. Anyway, so that was chapter 9. So that was chapters 5 from 9. This is already going on for an hour. I said till chapter 11, but this is already like almost an hour long, so I'm just going to cut it there. The next podcast is going to be from chapter 10 to maybe 14 or something. I don't want to get these podcasts over an hour because I feel like my viewership sort of gets flippy when it comes to like that extended period of time. But that said, that was the first 5 chapters, I think, of Revelations, or 4, I guess, 4. Gameplay is so fucking boring, man. This gameplay is really boring. And the story is like stomping over Conquest in like the wrong idea. And like it's doing these weird things. And it's kind of cryptic bullshit at times. And it's like Azura's acting weird, and at least Isana had a good death, but sometimes some characters are so comically, like, laughably evil. Like Garen is laughing and having exposition enough to the point where Elise listens. Like, that's fucking convenient. And I understand convenience is going to happen in Fire Emblem games because they're linear and things have to happen like that get forcefully discovered, I guess. But I mean, maniacally laughing and plotting against Corrin, and then Elise is just there listening. It's like, whoa, that's kind of silly on Garen's part. But whatever, it is what it is. I will say, though, I've played up to chapter 11 and the Frozen Sea one, and I like Frozen Sea. That's the best chapter so far. It's actually challenging, so that's good. and chapter 10 was actually a bit challenging as well, but not that much. But yeah, chapter 10 and 11 at least picked up gameplay wise. I don't even remember what's happening in the story in those chapters, so I have to refresh my memory. But anyway, thanks for listening if you're still here. And I will get to the reply to me's. I'm very actually surprised that there's so many of them in the end of the Conquest Lunatic video. So I will get to those. I'll get to as many as I can. Maybe I'll dedicate an entire video to those, just those. But yeah, I appreciate that so much. Thank you. I hope you were able to tolerate my excessive ranting on these chapters, but some of them really triggered me, man. Some of them really got me they really poked me in the wrong places. So that being said, my name's been Gas Station, and I'll catch you guys the next podcast or TRS video. Deuces.